Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lion's Den. I am your host, Ed Hale, and I think we got Miss Karen over there in Studio B. Are you still with me, Miss Karen?
I'm here.
Okay, and we have a great guest tonight. I told y'all that this was a mystery guest. I want to bring up right now Bob Chapman. Bob, are you with me?
I think so.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. We got Miss Karen over there in Studio B. Bob, tell the people a little bit about yourself, would you please?
Well, I'm old.
Well, now, that wasn't...
That's not enough.
That's a good start.
Anyway, I'm 73, and I grew up in Boston area, and went to Northeastern University. I worked in Army counterintelligence for several years. I was a stockbroker and owner of a stock brokerage firm for 28 years, specializing in gold and silver shares. Retired about over 20 years ago, and that didn't suit me very well, so I started a publication about business, finance, economics, and social and political issues called the International Forecaster. I've lived outside the United States probably about 20 years, off and on, in Europe, Central America, South America, Mexico, Canada, Africa, and these are for extended periods of time. So I've been around the world. I speak several languages, and I'm going strong.
Well, Bob, I'll tell you what, I guess we'll just jump right into this. What do you see of the future of the economics of this country?
Well, it's not only this country, it's the entire world that's got problems. So we have been the engine for economics and finance for the world, at least since the Second World War, and was a leader internationally 100 years before that. So we're kind of winding down here, and we are headed into a very, very serious recession, if not depression, and I don't see any way of getting out of it. And the people who are responsible for this are the people who supposedly are fixing the problem, and they're not fixing it. They've had a credit crisis for a year and a half, and it's worse now than when they started. They can't seem to tell the truth about anything. We have all kinds of scandals and scams and Ponzi schemes, and they come one after another. And corporate world, Washington, and banking and Wall Street is so corrupt it's beyond belief.
Well, that brings me to this point. What, if anything, is Obama going to do about this situation?
Zero.
That's kind of what I thought.
He's controlled by the same group of people who control George Bush, and they do exactly what they're told by people who are our shadow government, people who control our government from behind the scenes. And we had the A team for the last 8 years, and we're going to revert to the B team for the next 4 years, the B team which existed the previous 8 years to George Bush. So you're not getting any changes. Americans have returned 94% of the incumbents to office. Out of that group, probably 85% are totally corrupt. 10% are compromised, and 5% are good guys.
And that 5% can't get nothing done.
The public just doesn't have a clue to what's going on.
And that 5% can't get a cotton-picking thing done, can they?
No, unfortunately they can't, and that's why I try to give them a hand and do 20 radio programs a week and write a publication, which is published twice a week, about everything that you don't see in your media. We cover it. Okay,
let me ask you this. Do you charge for your publication?
I certainly do.
Okay. Where can people go and take a look-see at it?
Well, anybody who would like, we give free introductory copies. The International Forecaster is about the business, finance, economics, and social and political issues all over the world. We publish by email twice a week, about 40 pages each time, and we have a hard copy that goes out twice a month for those who are not on the Internet. And there's 3 ways you can get a free copy. You can go to our site on the Internet. That address is theinternationalforecaster.com. The International, FORECASTER.com. You can email us, and that address is international_forecaster@yahoo.com. International_forecaster@yahoo.com. Or you can call toll-free 800-375-4188. That's 800-375-4188.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Bob. Tell us what you foresee in the next 6 months happening in this country.
Well, I think the stock market is going to go down and test its lows of 20034, and the Dow Jones Industrial has that 72.86. It got down to 76 recently. It's trading around 86 right now. Earnings are falling dramatically. There's massive layoffs. Unemployment climbing exponentially. Inflation is still running high. It's down from 13.58% to about 10.5% right now. But I believe in the second quarter, it will start to move back up over 13% again, 14%. The expansion of money and credit will probably move from around 12% where it is right now, back up to the 15-16% level. I think interest rates will stay, Fed funds rates, near zero to a quarter of a point, and they're going to be there for a long time. The dollar will come down in value. It just broke down on the USDX, which is a index which is composed of 6 currencies versus the dollar. It recently, over the last 6 months, went up from 71.16 to 88. It's back down under 80 now, and I think it's going to go considerably lower again. We're going to have inflation. We're going to have stagnation, and so that's called stagflation. And not only is the United States going to have an extraordinarily rough time, but the whole world is. And that's being felt, as you've seen, from all of the things that are going on out there. The interference in our markets by the United States government has been extremely strong and thorough over the past 10 years in particular. The Working Group on Financial Markets was created by the United States government under an executive order by Ronald Reagan in August of 1988 as a palliative or answer to the extraordinary drop that we had in the stock market and the economy on October the 19th, 1987. And unfortunately, the people who have been in power since then have distorted that, and our government is manipulating and rigging every market in the world, and it's got to stop.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you. All this bailout money, is that doing any good at all?
All of the what?
All this bailout money, this $700 billion that they're giving away to these banks and whatever, is that doing any good at all?
Well, the major 5 legacy money center banks, as they're called, are all bankrupt. Most of the major brokerage firms are bankrupt. The reason why is they play fast and loose, and they lost billions, if not trillions of dollars. The money that's being given to the banking community, the brokerage community, the insurance companies, GM, Chrysler, maybe General Electric, AIG, the money is being thrown down a rat hole to keep these companies from going under. The amount of money that has been expended so far is $9.4 trillion. And I predicted 3 months ago that the figure would be over $10 trillion when everybody else was talking about 20 or 30 or 50 or 70 billion.
Okay.
And I expect that number to go very shortly to 1.2 or 12 to 13 trillion, and it should be 20 trillion by the end of next year.
Now, let me ask you this question, Bob.
The American taxpayer is going to pay for that.
Now, I want to ask you a question. What if we'd have took all this money, divided by every citizen in the United States, and give it to them? What would have happened to this economy?
It would right itself, but the problem is that the financial system would come down because of what the people who run the financial system have done. So the money has gone to the financial system.
And it's not going to help us.
What we're doing is we're bailing out the bankers, Wall Street, and insurance, basically. And a good part of that money is going for bonuses, dividends, to fatten their balance sheets, which are in dreadful condition, and occasionally buy up other banks. And if none of it is filtering down to the people, we're going to have one heck of a depression.
Well, that's what my thinking is. I'm looking by June to unemployment, 12 to 15%? You thinking about that?
What is 12 to 15%?
Unemployment.
Well, I can give you my version, but I'll give you the government version first.
Okay.
And I will say prior to giving you these statistics that the government lies about everything, and their statistics are all bogus and have been since 1980. The figure that you see is 6.7% unemployment, and that's short-term unemployment. Intermediate-term unemployment is called U6. It's running at 13.5%. The long-term unemployment officially is running close to 15%. Those are people who have been out of work since 1990. Now, the real figures are short-term is already over 10, intermediate-term is over 15, and long-term is over 20. And the rates will all eventually, over the next 3 years, get up over 30%, which is worse than what we had during the 1930s.
Okay, Bob, assuming that this unemployment gets this bad, what is that going to do to the economy? I mean, is it just going to wind up tanking the thing?